Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. So in today's video we will be talking about Samuel Umtiti, then we will be moving on to Emerson, next we will be talking about Dembele, and lastly we will quickly talk about Lautaro Martinez. So we are first going to start with Samuel Umtiti. So as the transfer does edge closer and closer, one of the big questions that we are going to have is what's going to happen with Samuel Umtiti, because in this summer coming up we are either going to have rumors stating that this defender is going to be linked to FC Barcelona, or someone from Barcelona B is going to get promoted. But the moral of the story is this, is that we are going to have a new defender next season, and the time is running out for Samuel Umtiti, because what Samuel Umtiti has been putting out on the field in over the past 10 to 18 months has not been good enough, and Barcelona needs to move on. So it says here, according to Javi Miguel, Barcelona has been looking for a buyer for Umtiti since a year now. There is no offer on the table for him. The player also doesn't want to leave. His current salary is untenable for other teams to match, and that's the biggest problem that's going to come up for FC Barcelona, right? Is that when a club does sign a star player or someone that's up and coming like Samuel Umtiti, and when that player does play for that club and he underperforms, you are going to be put in a position where you do want to sell that player, but it's going to be extremely hard for you to get rid of that player, because many clubs are going to be looking at this and say, wait a minute, that defender's injured, we don't want any of that problem. Then we have Tony Juan Martí, who has stated Barcelona would accept a cheap transfer for Umtiti, but the reality is that his sale will be difficult. Umtiti wants to continue at Barcelona and has a valid contract. Then according to Gabriel Sams, who has stated Umtiti doesn't want to leave Barcelona, he is focused on recovering from his injury and is not talking to the club about his contractual situation. Then he continues to say he wants to get ready as soon as possible so he can play for Barcelona, whether it's now for the Champions League, which is something very complicated, or for next season. His contract does end until 2023, and his idea is to fulfill that contract. So it's quite clear on what Umtiti wants to do, is that he does not want to leave the club. And in my opinion, what I think Barcelona should do is that Barcelona should give the treatment that they did give to Arthur Melo. Now, am I saying this because I hate Umtiti, or do I think that Umtiti is a bad player? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Umtiti needs to move on, and I'm saying this because it's for the sake of the club, and Barcelona needs to do better. And in order for Barcelona to do better as a club on the pitch, Samuel Umtiti has to leave. And if Barcelona do want to bring new center backs who can flourish on the field, Samuel Umtiti needs to leave the club, because if he stays, Barcelona will not be able to do that. So here's where we stand today with Umtiti, is that Umtiti is going to be placed on the market, and I think that he's already placed on the market, and many clubs are informed of Umtiti's potential exit. Now what we need is for Barcelona and Umtiti to see eye to eye and find that agreement that they should be going other ways, and hopefully Barcelona can find good business. Now moving on to Emerson, and we do have some very big news about Emerson, and it says here, according to Vito Angel, AC Milan is determined to make a big investment on a right back. For Emerson, the negotiations is difficult. The Barcelona player has a contract with Betis until 2021. Milan would be obligated to negotiate with both clubs an operation of around 30 million euros. If we're talking about this type of figure here, this is going to be a striking deal. And I know that I highly favor Emerson. I know that I talk about Emerson a lot, and that I do want to see him in a Barcelona shirt. But now knowing that Emerson could be sold for 30 million euros, and we originally bought him for 12 to 13 million euros, is a massive profit. Now, we must remember that this is a player whose first season in Europe has contributed into 3 goals and 6 assists. And so Barcelona cannot be just looking at this for profit. They have to be looking at this from a sporting perspective. Like, should we let go of a right back who has contributed more than Sergi Roberto? So this is a situation where it's very similar to Todibo. Like, yes, is it a great idea business wise to sell this player for massive profit? Yes, of course, but sporting wise, what can these players bring? And to be honest, Todibo can bring a lot on the table, and so can Emerson. But right now, what Barcelona's idea is to sell these two players only because there's a massive increase in profit between these two players. And I really do think that Barcelona is going to go through with this. I think that Barcelona do want to sell Emerson for 30 million euros, not because Emerson is performing bad, but because Barcelona right now do need the funds, and I believe that nothing is going to stop Barcelona at the moment to get those funds in this summer, especially after this pandemic and everything. But look, it is unfortunate to see that Emerson might be sold. I really wanted Emerson to be in a Barcelona shirt next season, but if Barcelona do see that profit and it is going to help and fund whatever operation they do want to complete, I think that in the end Emerson is going to be sold. If not, best case scenario, continue to run that loan with Real Betis until the summer of 2021. And just to put this out there, this does not increase the chances of Dest coming. The only way we can increase the chances of Dest coming to FC Barcelona is if Semedo gets sold. So there is no correlation between Emerson leaving and Serginho Dest. The player that we should be looking at is Nelson Semedo if we do want Dest to come in. And so that is where we stand with Emerson right now. There's a chance that Emerson could be sold for maximum profit, and we will be following up on this player and report in the future. Now moving on to the next topic of the day, and we are going to be talking about Dembele. So as we all know, Dembele is expected to be back sometime around the first week of August, and it has been pushed back just a little, so maybe by August 9th, 10th or 11th. But the fans are excited to see Dembele back. I'm excited to see Dembele back. I cannot wait to see what Dembele can bring to the table, and I think that it is clear enough that Barcelona themselves really do miss this player. Now it says here, according to Fernando Polo, Setien's dreams of lining up Dembele in this squad. He's urged to have a pure winger who can generate spaces. He has a devilish speed to run into spaces and also dribbling to go static. He also kicks the ball very hard. Dembele is also vital at a tactical level because his presence in the squad would greatly change the axis of the attack and give Messi more spaces in the area to pass or finish. Setien has faith and interest in being able to enjoy him in the UCL. And so look, like I said before, the excitement is extremely real for Dembele, and not just for us fans, but for the coach, the staff, and everyone in the club. And I believe that when Dembele does come back from that injury and we somehow see him in the match against Napoli, it's going to be a very definitive moment for Dembele. And there has been sources claiming that Dembele could be featured in the match against Napoli and might even start in that match. And to be honest, when I did hear that the club and the coaches are planning on using Dembele immediately after he comes back from injury into a UCL match, that makes me extremely nervous, because who knows what's going to happen with Dembele when he does come back to a UCL match. And I am no doctor, like I do not study the body, but it has been said that when a body is put under a lot of stress, and when you are in a very stressful situation, for example the Champions League match, your body does end up being tense, and that there's more of a chance of you being injured. And that is the last thing you do want to see with a player like Dembele, is to come back after 8 months and then get injured again and then be out for another 2 to 3 months. That is the last thing I do want to see, and that is why I say that this idea makes me very nervous. But to me, it seems like the club is very confident on what they are doing with Dembele. And the question that I do want to bring is this, is that if Dembele does deliver, could there be a chance that Dembele stays next season? And if he does stay next season, many other questions are going to come up. Like for example, where is he going to be positioned? And if he is positioned on that right wing area, what is his role going to be? Because as we all know, Trincao is going to be featured in Barcelona's squad next season. We also know that if Lautaro Martinez comes in as the number 9 for FC Barcelona, Messi is going to be pushed on the right wing, meaning that Dembele is going to have to go through Trincao and Lionel Messi. And even if we push Dembele on the left wing, that would also mean that he will have to fight against Griezmann and Ansu Fati. So yes, it's a great problem to have. Like we all want depth in our squad, but we also don't want a player to be wasted on the bench. But in general, right, what is Dembele's future going to look like? And I think that the best way to find that out is to place him in the UCL. And I know that that sounds a little bit contradicting after what I just said about him being potentially injured in that match, but we have to find out quickly on what Dembele can bring to this club, because his time is running out. We need answers. We need to know if Dembele can be that great player that we all wished he could have been 2 to 3 years back, because if not, Barcelona need to move forward. And I think that that is where Setien's mind is at. Like, Setien is not going to hesitate on putting Dembele in this match, because one of the greatest problems that we did have against Napoli is that we had no width. Like, our wingers were literally Vidal and Antoine Griezmann, and with the inclusion of putting Dembele in that starting 11 or put him later in that match, that will greatly increase our chances inside the box, and in return we could end up winning this match only because Dembele was able to add that extra edge to this team. And that is exactly what I do want to see from Dembele. I want Dembele to come into this team and bring something that Barcelona currently do not have. Then we can see and finally have an answer to that question, like, does Dembele have a spot in this squad? Because if not, then yes, of course, we should sell him because we need to move on. But as of now, the club and Setien are looking at Dembele and saying, this guy is the answer to our problems in times like this. And so lastly, I do want to end it with some news about Lautaro Martinez. This is going to be very quick. And so the CEO of Inter Milan has spoke again, who is Marotta, and he has stated, we are discussing renewals with many players, above all the younger ones, who we want to work with for a long time. And that includes Lautaro Martinez. We're doing it calmly without rush. He's happy to wear this jersey and we'll evaluate his future. Does this mean that Lautaro Martinez will not be coming to FC Barcelona? Because it really does seem that the CEO of Inter Milan is super confident on keeping Lautaro Martinez. And to be honest, this does not mean a damn thing. I'm telling you guys right now that whatever the CEO does say or does put out, it does not mean anything if the club can match the release clause of Lautaro Martinez and if that player does want to go to that club. Because if those two things are met, then that club, who is a selling club, Inter Milan, cannot do anything about this transfer. And as we all know, Barcelona is putting 70 million on the table with Junior Firpo involved in this operation. And we already know that Junior Firpo is interested in becoming part of this operation. And so it looks more likely that this deal can be completed regardless of what this CEO does say. We have to remember that the Italian businessmen do like to negotiate in this way. They like to put pressure out into the media in order for Barcelona or any other club to react quickly, because in the end, these clubs do want the money, and that is why they do want to say statements like this. And so no need to worry. This is not the first time or will be the last time we hear the CEO of Inter Milan putting out statements like this. He's going to continue to say this until this operation is completed. And so that'll be it for today's Barcelona Daily News. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are new here, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.